Good morning, everyone. Sorry if I'm looking a bit hot and sweaty, but this is reality. I'm about to go get the goat so that I can milk her, and I'll bring you along for the milking routine. MaBella. Stage one is getting the goat to the milk stand, and they like to get distracted by the grass, which is a bit overgrown at the moment. This is MaBella, and she's very distracted by the grass. But anyway, come on, miss. She doesn't like jumping up on the milk stand, whereas Mary does. Just check to make sure I've got you in frame properly. Oh, you're a bit crooked. Okay. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Actually, I might bring you a bit closer so you can see what I'm up to. I'm a bit late milking this morning. But anyway, so the first thing we do is I've got a container here with warm water that's got a little bit of biodegradable hypoallergenic dishwashing liquid in it. So I've just put a couple of cloths in there so that I can wash down MaBella's udders. So we wash down the udders to make sure that to clean off any dirt and grime or anything like that. So these are just washers that I've bought from the shops, obviously. From the shops, where else would I get them? Well, I could have made them myself, I guess, but I didn't. I don't do fabric manufacturing, I'm afraid. It's quite warm here today. So just washing off all the dirt and grime off MaBella's udders. She's quite full this morning because I'm a bit late this morning, which is not good for the animals, but it's also not tragic. So we've washed them down now. Now I've got another cloth. Now I wash these washers in 90 degrees water after every use. Well, I don't wash them after every use. I wait until I've got about 20 of them before I wash. But yeah, so I wash them at 90 degrees to kill off any bacteria. Now the next thing we do is I have used coconut oil, because coconut oil's got antibacterial, anti-microbial, antiviral properties to it, but it's also lubricating. So I use that to wipe down MaBella's udders to lubricate whilst milking, and then we take the first 3 to 4 squirts. That's called stripping out, and that's to take any bacterial plug that might be there. And now I'll move you around the other side so you can see a bit better. Now MaBella's only got one udder because she had black mastitis a few years ago when I was only just learning what I was doing with goats. There was one day, like she was just about dried up, and she ended up getting a bacterial infection, which the vet didn't pick up and didn't tell me what it was, and I didn't know, so we ended up losing one of her udders. So basically, to milk, it's the action of, if that's the udder, you clip it off at the top, so you hold that back to stop the milk from going back up the udder, and then you squeeze down. So this is not a normal action that we usually do. Usually we go like that with our hands. So when you're milking, you need to go the other way. So we grab the udder, and I'm hoping you can see. MaBella is a very good goat. I've been milking her for many years. This is her third kidding that she's had since I've had her. I've had her for about 5 years, I think. This one was a bit of a surprise because the buck got to her when I wasn't expecting him to. There was the wrong buck too. So it's really important to make sure the milk doesn't go back up into the udder. So you make sure you squeeze that off at the top. So I'll change the speed of this so you're not having to watch the whole thing, because that's going to get boring. Okay, so next, so it's really important to make sure you get as much of the milk out of the udder as possible. Now when a kid is actually feeding from her mum, you'll actually notice that she'll hit the udder. Now I'm not being rough, this is really important to get all that last little bit of milk dropped down. And MaBella, because she's had black mastitis before in the past, I always make a point of trying to massage any lumps that I can feel, which unfortunately there are a few there. She doesn't have mastitis at the moment, she's just got a few ducts that aren't letting down the milk properly because she had twins and one of the twins died very soon after birth, which was really sad. But so it just helps to let down any of the last milk in there and strip out that last bit of milk. So yeah, so that's the milking. So I'll show you what. Don't get a lot of milk from MaBella. MaBella is a meat goat, and well, she's a meat goat. Initially, when she first kidded, when I first got her, I was only getting about a cup of milk a day from her. That was milking twice a day. Now I'm getting about 1 litre, so I'm reasonably happy with that. And I could just dry her up now too, so I could go through the process of drying her up, but we actually need the milk at the moment. So next thing we do is, so I have this cup of water that's got cooler, cooler soapy water, so I wash down the udder with that. Some people have special teat washers. I don't, I just have a little cup from IKEA. And it seems to work. So I've got my cloth that I dry her off again. Dry that down, and then I use a little bit more coconut oil on her, and that just helps to protect her from any bacteria getting back up into the udder and protect her from that getting black mastitis again. And I haven't had any problems since that first time, and that was 2 kiddings ago. So that was the first time she kidded with me. She had a little boy, and then the next time she kidded, she had 2 boys. And they were so cute. They were so cute. And had no problems with her milking her then. And we dried her off when we decided that we were moving. And then Laura came into milk. But that's another story. So Laura had massive udders. She's a Saanen, so she produces a lot more milk. Although they're actually getting about the same amount of milk at the moment, but that's another story. So yeah, so since I've been doing this and making sure I'm milking her more consistently, I haven't had any problems with black mastitis again. It's a nasty little thing, that is, black mastitis. You don't want to get that. And you can go back and have a look at some of the videos in my past post to see what we had to do to help MaBella, and we thought we were going to save the udder, but we didn't know until she had the next lot of kids. But, so that's milking. That's my milking routine. Next thing I'm going to do is try and get her back so that I can get Mary out. But yeah, you have a great day. Bless you. Now, Mary's got much bigger horns, so she's a little bit more of a challenge. But she's more than happy to just jump up on the stand. But the tricky part is going to be getting her back into the pen with MaBella, because MaBella is the alpha of the paddock, of the herd, and she makes sure everyone knows it, and she's a bit rough. Now the other thing with Mary is she is a Saanen goat, so she is a dairy breed of goat, but she's feeding 2 twin goats at the moment, and I haven't been separating them at night, so because I want the girls to get as much milk as they need, and I don't always get the goats milked all that early. So again, I've washed her down with the warm water, dried her down with the dry cloth, and now I'm going to put the coconut oil on her again, which has got the antibacterial and anti-microbial properties and antiviral, and it also lubricates the udders so there's less friction. Coconut oil is brilliant. So it means some people use an udder balm. I choose not to. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just stripping out the first couple of squirts out of both udders, and that just makes sure if there's any bacteria in there that it comes out first and doesn't go into my milking vessel. Now I'm not going to use the bucket with Mary, simply because she's not producing that much. And this way means you can see this because it's a glass jar. So I'll bring you over here so you can see a bit better again. So we squeeze off the top. So she won't give me a lot of milk because her babies are getting most of her milk. I will start separating them at night soon because the girls are 3.5 months old. So they're certainly old enough. And if I'm separating them at night and I'm collecting the milk first thing in the morning, and then I'll give her a couple of hours before I put her back in with the girls to build up a bit of a supply again. The girls will help build the milk supply up to the maximum level again. Because supply equals demand. The more you're demanding from the goat, the more milk they'll produce. If they're getting enough feed and enough nutrition. And they don't have a high worm load. There are a lot of different things with goats. With any livestock really, it takes a while to learn what you're doing. And I think it's a lifelong journey, because even people that have had goats for many, many, many years, like decades, are still learning. And there are still challenges that they have. And they learn new stuff. And it's not that that anything changes with the goats. There are people that come up with new ideas on how to raise them and how to care for them best. And that's what it's all about, learning. And you just keep going on that journey and keep developing your skills and learn from people that have got more experience. Like ideally, I really should have mineral supplements in there for the girls as well, so that they can get their minerals that they need. And I do put minerals in their food. So I give them lucerne, some goat milking pellets, a mineral supplement scoop, and some BioWorma. BioWorma is an organic wormer for goats and livestock. It was developed by the CSIRO here in Australia in conjunction with somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Livermole, I think it is. But it certainly helps. It's not 100% protection, and you've got to use it in conjunction with rotating where they are so that they can't stay on the same patch of ground, which is better for the land and it's better for the goats. So yeah, big fan of the BioWorma with livermole. I haven't had half as many problems with goats dying. I've tried many different organic wormers, and really the best thing for them is to be moved onto a fresh patch of grass every 3 days at the latest. From a worm perspective, because it'll increase the worm load otherwise. That's the life cycle of the parasite. So that's basically her milk. So she's not giving me a lot of milk, but she's giving most of it to the girls and growing up her babies. Sorry, I'm really sweaty today. It's a very hot, humid and muggy day. Oh dear. Pardon me. Bit of dust got up the nose. I have a lot of allergies actually. Although they're not playing up as much now that I've moved further out to the country. If you hear back in some of my old videos, I was coughing and sneezing and spluttering everywhere. It was shocking. Oh, I also give the girls apple cider vinegar and garlic. Ideally I should be putting it over their food each day, but I don't always remember. I've got too many things running through the head. Too much to do. So, let's bring you back a bit. So I'm just going to wash down our udders like I did with MaBella. So wash your udder. I'll rinse my hand a bit. Before I put my hand back into the coconut oil. Dry off the udder. And ideally, I actually like to pour off the bit of the first part of the milk and put on my tomato plants, because tomatoes need calcium. But that's about it. I'm going to leave Mary there for a bit, and I'll catch you in the next video. Go see what this little man wants. Have a great one. Bless you.